You know this video is going to get crazy when I haven't done a review in so long and I have no facial hair. It's crazy. Anyway, hello and welcome to Mikey's Film Corner. I'm your host, Mikey, or Woody, whatever you prefer to call me. People from my last stream call me Woody. It's one of my nicknames. So, you prefer to call me either or, I don't care. Today, we're going to be talking about not one, but two movies. Now, before I start these reviews, I need to clarify something real quick. I am an anime casual. Alright? I'll be honest. Not too in-depth in the anime lore of certain shows. The only one I remember vividly was Avatar: The Last Airbender and The Boondocks. That's it. Those are the only two. And I do consider Boondocks an anime. I don't care what anybody tells me. Top tier. Other than those two, don't really know much else. There may be a couple shows I'm forgetting. Maybe, everybody watches Dragon Ball. Some people watch Naruto, Jujutsu Kaisen, My Hero Academia, Don Da Don. But the two shows I'm going to cover today had movies that came out this year. One, it did phenomenal in the box office and is still somehow playing, which is surprising to me. And the other just came out and isn't doing as well, but is better received, which we'll get into. Those movies are Demon Slayer Infinity Castle and Chainsaw Man the movie REZE Arc. Now, there may be a couple of things I might say that might come out of context. Again, I need to clarify. I am an anime casual. I am not looking at this from the way the anime is made. I'm looking at it as how the movie is made. That's what I do. I am a movie guy. I am not the biggest, anime connoisseur. There are bigger anime fans than I am. I'm just a casual. I'm just a trespasser. Do not try to harm me in the comments, okay? I'm solely looking at the movies itself, not the shows. That is not what this channel is for. This is a film channel. Now that I got that out of the way, let's start off with our first movie, Infinity Castle. The movie that is breaking box office records and is, I think, now the highest grossing Japanese animated movie of all time. Right over Pokemon, the first movie. Crazy. Crazy times we live in. Now, is this movie worth the $600 million box office that it has? Yeah. Honestly, yeah. I mean, like, when we were kids in the 2000s, like, Pokemon was the big thing. And I'm a Pokemon fan, so I would know. I'm an OG Pokemon fan. I'm not a newer Pokemon fan. I'm an OG fan. So as someone who used to grow up with Pokemon, seeing all the movies and stuff, big deal. Well, by watching them, I mean, like, waiting until they were on cable or watching them on Crackle. Shout out to Crackle. Anybody remember Crackle? Were they on Crackle? No, they were on something else. They were on a platform. I do remember watching anime on Crackle. Shout out Metropolis. Great movie. Might have to do a 25th anniversary to that one, but it's not the point. Anyway, Infinity Castle. This movie surprised me. As someone who didn't know much about Demon Slayer, and I'm going to say the same thing about Chainsaw Man, except I actually did know a little more about Chainsaw Man than this, Demon Slayer surprised me. There were a lot of arcs that intertwined within the same area, which Infinity Castle was just a bunch of infinite rooms all made into one big castle. And it looks pretty dope. I will give some props right off the bat. Cinematography, phenomenal. For an anime film of this magnitude, well done. Well done. Easily top tier cinematography. Editing. Amazing to look at. I love the editing from this. It's all quick and fast paced. But I'm going to mention that word pace in a second. It's going to come into this review in a second. I love the acting. I love the voice acting for this movie. Especially Channing Tatum. He did a great job. I think everyone did their role perfectly well. All the characters had their own thing. Some of the characters didn't get used because they're saving them for other movies, and that's fine. I'm okay with that. But I'm going to go into one glaring issue that really ruined the movie for me, as someone who didn't know much about Demon Slayer, and that is the pacing. Remember I mentioned the fast-paced editing? There was a lot of slow burns. And by slow burn, I mean a crap ton of flashbacks. Now, I know from what I've heard, the show is like that. The show has flashbacks. That's fine. When you're making a movie, you cannot just cut an action scene and just have a long flashback unless it's important to the story, which for one portion of around the end of the movie, that makes sense. That makes sense to have a long flashback. For the majority of the movie, absolutely not. That is unacceptable. You cannot have half your runtime be flashbacks. That is unacceptable. No. That is stupid. Literally half the movie that is over 2 hours long is flashbacks. No. That's stupid. That is stupid. Why would they do it? In manga form, that's fine. In the show, that's okay. Not for a big motion picture like this. This is your biggest movie so far since Mugen Train, and you're doing it again. You're making it worse. You're doing too many flashbacks. I want action. I want to feel like I'm in a part of the action, and you're blocking it. You're blocking it. I don't like that. What are we doing? That's stupid. Pacing aside, though, the movie's phenomenal. So I'm not going to go crazy about this rating. I'm just going to go ahead and start rating it right off the bat. Loved everything other than the flashback. The multitude of flashbacks killed the pacing for the majority of the movie. The rest of the movie was great. Cannot argue it. I actually enjoyed it. I just want to see what this next movie in 2 years is going to be. I'm very curious what they're going to do. So I'm going to go ahead and give this rating an 8 out of 10. Just kidding. I'm giving it an 8.5 out of 10. I cannot give it a 9 because the pacing is just terrible. For most of the movie, I don't want a bunch of flashbacks. If they're going to play something into it, sure. Maybe the payoff will be worth it. But for someone like me who doesn't know much of what's going on, you can't just throw me into another sad flashback when we have a great action scene going on. I don't like that. That's a stupid creative decision. 8.5 out of 10. We're gonna keep it pushing. Because now I'm gonna mention the actual masterpiece. Chainsaw Man REZE arc. This is a masterpiece. Now, I like to troll a little bit. My boy Denji, you gotta get your priorities straight. I know you're a 16-year-old dude, but get your priorities straight. Jokes aside, look, my boy is a demon killer. And I gotta respect that about him. You know, I mean, like, Demon Slayer and Chainsaw Man almost feel like the same thing, but they're not. What's cool about Demon Slayer is the story building. What's cool about Chainsaw Man is the comedy. This is a comedic show. And you could tell right away it is. They don't market it as one, but it is one. And I love that. I love the unironic comedy out of it. And what I think is the comedic bit for the majority of the show, and even this movie, poor old Denji just wants to get some girls. That's it. He just wants to get some help with the ladies, you know? He just wants to talk to the ladies, you know? By talk, I mean, gentlemen, you know what he's trying to do. So, look, jokes aside, phenomenal cinematography, just like Demon Slayer. Except here's the difference. The pacing was better. It was well-paced, well-made. Love the action scenes. REZE is a dope villain. Being a bomb devil is pretty dope. At least it seems that way. I mean, she literally couldn't die until like the end. Yeah, spoiler by the way. She dies. Kind of a buzzkill, which might hamper the rating a little bit. I thought that they were going to keep her alive and then maybe make a whole season out of what they're going to do with her character, but I think this was all of season 2 of Chainsaw Man. I don't know. Anyway, not going to go crazy about it. Love the acting, love the characters, I'm giving it a 9.5 out of 10. And the only reason why I'm giving it a 9.5 out of 10, REZE could have played a really big part for the next movie. You didn't have to kill her off right away. She could have led you to the gun devil and you just killed her off immediately. Which is kind of a buzzkill. But regardless, still love the movie. 9.5 out of 10. Might honestly be right with Infinity Castle, but it's kind of below it because of the slow burn pacing than flashbacks. Chainsaw Man REZE arc might truly be my favorite anime film. It might be up there. It might genuinely be up there. And I'm going to consider both movies films because I don't care if they're going to make it into episodes on Netflix or you put it on a streaming service. They're movies to me, damn it. They're movies to me. With that being said, I'm going to end the review here, or the double review, whatever I'm going to call it. If you guys enjoyed the video, make sure to smash the like button and smash that subscribe button. I got a lot of editing to do. Okay. I also got a lot of movies to catch up on, so I apologize if I haven't been consistent. I'm trying to get as consistent as I can be. I got a lot of movie reviews to catch up on. The Oscar season's around the corner. Might have to do our predictions of what I think is going to get nominated. We might do a stream on that. Anyway, with that being said, I'll see you guys in the next video. Deuces.